Chapter 2 All the World is a Stage. When I was young, my parents told me that Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny were real. When I learned that they weren't, I cried. I was angry that my parents lied to me. Your consciousness has a structure. Anatomy is concerned with the structure of bodies, but there's little to no emphasis put on the structure of consciousness. Let us keep it simple. You have an id, an ego, and a superego, and probably more. The id is desire. It has no concept of space or time, which are the same things. It is hunger. It is sexual desire. It is life. Without it, we wouldn't be here. Something had to tell us that eating was a good idea. Then nature happens. Nature tells the id that it cannot get what it wants all of the time, every time. This is where the ego comes in. The ego is rational. It plans. It has timetables, hopes, and fears. It goes to the id to negotiate terms. The id will always yell and scream when it does not get what it wants. That is its job. But yelling and screaming doesn't always solve our problems. The ego takes control to resolve the conflict between the id's desires and the laws of nature. The ego is just trying to help. It wants to protect you. Your superego is everyone else. It's society. For some, the superego is their only voice of morality in their lives. It is the voice of shame. It is what makes you feel good when everyone is approving of your behavior. The superego first takes on the form of your caretakers. In most cases, this would be your parents. Your caretakers tell you what to eat, what to wear, when to sleep, and pretty much everything else. Your id does not like your superego. In later years, the superego incorporates your friends and colleagues and everyone else. One day you will lie to someone. That lie will most likely be an interplay between the id, ego, and superego. A chef fixes you a meal. It tastes horrible. You know from experience that this person will become very upset if you mention how horrible it is, so you decide not to mention it. Then they ask you how the meal tasted. The id doesn't want to deal with the negative response if you were to be honest. The superego both tells you to be honest along with another conflicting signal to uplift your chef. The ego comes into the table to save the day. It weighs the pros and cons. The id is all for lying. The superego does agree that you should make the chef feel good, but it also would shame you for lying. The ego is pleased with its decision. Lying it is. It is all good unless you get caught. No problem. We just won't tell anyone how bad it is. This does not come without a cost. As Gandhi said, happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. There will always be a lingering sense of disharmony in your life as long as your thoughts differ from your actions. You don't have to lie. You don't have to disharmonize yourself with the truth. But if you do, you might lose friends. You might be chastised. Let's face it, it's hard to be honest. However, by realizing this, we can see the value in those who are honest, and we can see why we shouldn't necessarily be surprised when people do lie. An overwhelming majority of our elected congressmen claim to be Christian, about 97%. Sure, some of them may be, but the ones who really aren't Christian, who merely take on the title, know that they have to embrace the lie to get their job. Their ego is just trying to protect them. We all have to make a choice. It takes courage to be honest. Part of being in this world involves you going to the theater. All the world is a stage. Sometimes you will act, sometimes you will spectate. Sometimes you will write or direct, and maybe, one day, you will find someone outside the backstage door who is ready to have a real conversation.